Another day, another draft here on Splash Play. Stream draft number 85 for me on the year. And today we're going to enter the world of drafters. We'll be drafting for no playoff weeks, full point PPR, 500K to first place. Nice benefits as well if you are a new sign up on there, or even if you're just a regular sign up. If you have a membership already, lots of rake back on it. I am already in the room, though I don't think it's filled, and I'm not sure how many spots it takes to fill. So there's the one flaw in the drafters product. I will say I thought you could see it last year, but I'm in a room here. I've drafted one team off stream already, but it said 8 spots before. I have to assume it's not 8 spots left now. So we're just going to hang on and wait for this to fill. But let's talk about drafters a little bit before we get into it, of course, because drafters is different than underdog. It's really the best thing that it has going for it is that it's not the exact same thing as underdog. And much underdog's credit, I really thought this year, after stripping out the regular season prize pool that they do have for Best Ball Mania last year, really thought that they were going to end up putting a tournament like drafters into the mix this season. Does not seem like that's the case. So the best thing drafters has going for it is the format where you're not getting into playoff pods. You don't have to worry about your week 15 correlation or week 16 correlation. Maybe you want to layer on a little bit of week 17 correlation or try to spike one more time in the home stretch, but you don't even really have to do that. You still do want to stack, still want to correlate, still be mindful of ADP values and players that we like and we talk about here, and we're mindful of the roles be getting better for them. For the most part, in drafters, I enjoyed it because I put in 9 entries last year. I finished just outside the top 100. We had a lot of great finishers as well. And here we are. The draft room is filled. Thank the Lord. Of course, shouts to drafters, though. Really do appreciate them. Their founder, Zach, really one of the nicest guys I've met in the business. And we're drafting the 1 hole today. So that's pretty nice. So a Christian McCaffrey spot here. Forgot for drafters, I have to move myself down. Oh, fuck. The screen is a little bit too big now. I've not tested the drafters screen yet. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking. So you can see here, of course, the board up top, my queue over here, and my team will be on this side over here. So that's the drafters format on desktop, on mobile. Really great app as well. I feel like their notifications and all that do a good job. So I'll hit the I'm ready, let's draft. I have to assume not everybody in the room will be ready to draft. We got our guy Short Gamer in here, though, in the 4-hole. We got Chunk the Deuce here, Wounded Geese as well. So few names we know, and hopefully these guys will put in a nice draft for themselves today. Because on drafters, I'm not going to yell at you for being in the room because we need just to fill the rooms, really. And also on drafters with the format, a little bit less competitive. We're not trying to get out of pods. That's a big benefit to drafters. Good morning. Already got 18 holes. Wow, that's... Wait, where are you? I guess on the East Coast, that'd be possible. But shout out to Brian here. Appreciate him. And what the hell? Hold on. What the hell? Today is today the weekday? No, we're doing it Saturdays now. We're going to 6 days a week of drafts here on Splashplay because A, drafters came to the table, and B, I don't want to lose my 5 days a week of underdog drafts. So, and this way, look, if DraftKings finally sharpens up and realizes, hey, maybe we need to grease the palms of some best ball streamers to make more content about our drafts out there, then hey, we get out a 7-day a week of DraftKings drafts. I'm willing to do it ultimately because that's, look, I know what it's pushing towards. We start with 5 days a week, and my addictive personality makes it we could easily be a 7-day a week show if we really wanted to. Of course, I have a child, so that's the push-pull of it all. Spent the morning actually dealing with our toddler who's been up since 5 a.m. Alex took the early shift, took the 5:45 to 8 a.m. shift. I took the 8 a.m. to just about now shift. And we were going to take Christian McCaffrey here. Christian McCaffrey at the 101 in a drafters draft feels pretty good. Knowing that barring injury, we're going to have top-level running back production. Makes it a lot easier for me to do my zero RB bullshit or hero RB style bullshit, push running back a little bit later. The big lesson I had from drafters last year, again, had one team that finished just outside the top 100. Going a little more elite at positions, I thought was what helped that team out. I had some great wide receiver play from Tyreek Hill. I had some great QB play from Josh Allen. I think my tight end, I forget who my tight ends were. I could look this up in a separate screen, actually, so I should do that. But really, I think having the elites here does benefit you more in a drafters because you're not just trying to spike for week 17. You're not just hoping that any QB can beat Josh Allen like I always talk about for underdog. In general, for drafters, you're trying to have that production over the course of a year. So you're trying to be more mindful of everything that goes in over the course of a season. And that means guys like McCaffrey look better. That means guys like Sam Laporta, I think, who might have been my tight end last year, looks a little bit better. That's why guys like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, those guys are going to give you a lot better floor throughout the year, going to make you competitive to be around the range where you need to, and you have to spike a little bit more down the home stretch to actually have that upside. And I think that was the big thing that pushed a lot of top teams last year was they had the CeeDee Lamb spike weeks, had the Amari Cooper spike weeks. So still the same things that drove a lot of value in underdog and DraftKings drove value on drafters. But if you had the baseline a little bit more of good production throughout the season, you were likely to be in the hunt more to just have that chance where the spike week would matter for you to vault up there. And a couple guys in the community, I think, actually did finish top 10 as well, or top 20, I believe. ASAP Tuna, I think, also finished like top 10. I forget. A couple guys I know finished top 10. Updog, I know as well, was I think top 5 last year. So really is possible to have a good run on drafters. I think even more than it is on some of the other sites. Obviously, we love underdog here. I get the value of DraftKings as something that's been in their finals multiple times. For underdog, for drafters, though, I think it's just an easier tournament to give yourself a shot for the big upside without having to worry about all the luck boxing in between. Al-Caddy be the comedic relief in a golf tourney. Okay, there we go. Look, people are setting it up. I saw there was some startup out there that's called like the Hamptons, where it's like a bunch of rich people doing rich people events together. And then they were like, well, one of our members did an event for us and spent tens of millions of dollars or whatever. They're like, what the fuck, man? So communities out there making events is a thing that occurs. So if anyone wants to take the initiative away from me, please feel free. Chunk finished 67th for 1,500. Yeah, look, I mean, again, for me to put in less than 10 entries, and you guys know how much I value, the ability to put in 150 entries and things, because I know it from DFS. I know that that's the key part of things. Enough competent players told me over the course of time, of course, Osmo being the number one of them, where it's like you're better off maxing a tournament you can afford than, putting in one entry in a tournament that you can't. I would say the same thing for DFS generally, but because of drafters format, I think if you're a sharp drafter, it's a little more utility to have those spike week upsides a little bit more. It is a holiday weekend. I promised I would make it kind of fun. So I am going Golden Monkey here. We're going to 9.5% ABV beer at 11 a.m. on a Saturday because wife and kid are going to be out of the house today. So I just got to do the Spags rankings at some point. Got to do this draft. And I have to drink this beer. Those are my activities for the day. Tyler was top 100 as well, and Chunk only put in 11 entries. So there you go. Same thing. You guys saw Chunk draft on stream. He's a good drafter, but fundamentally, that's the main thing to me. If you are a good drafter, you're hopping into drafters, that you're going to have a good time no matter what amount of entries you're putting in. We got our picks coming up here. I've kibitzed, filled enough time. All right, so we got Mike Evans would be the ADP pick right now. Achan could make us real tight at running back, which could be kind of fun. And we also would get some correlation for week 16, which does not matter, but I still have to say it out loud. I'm going to take Achan. I really want to hammer running back early, I think, and try to get my receivers a little bit later on. Mike Evans, I think Diggs is the better year. If I were to rank these guys, Diggs would be my highest. I am going to go Diggs. I want to share of the Houston offense. Was tempting to me to take Malik Neighbors. I don't want Mike Evans first out of that group, to be honest. I'm okay with Mike Evans. I'm okay with Tampa Bay. As I've talked about there, I do believe it's more of a Mike Evans offense, even though you're starting to see some social media posts. I think people really love the Chris Godwin type of receivers. I think because of the fact he's projectable, because he gets targets underneath, like things that people value more. This show is called Splash Play. My whole thesis of fantasy football is that you want the guys who are going to have the big plays, who are going to have the outlier upside. I hate Chris Godwin types. I like Mike Evans a lot more, but in terms of his talent and in terms of me wanting to make a bet, especially when I start out with Christian McCaffrey and Achan, I want a receiver that's going to have like massive upside. And I don't know that Mike Evans is that guy, whereas Diggs can be Nico Collins from last year. I'd probably be happy with him taking him at the 2-3 turn. For Mike Evans, he's got to do at least what he did last year to hold up this ADP. And we'll see if he can. The Bucs are one of those teams to me that would not shock me if they came back down to earth, with last year having the great offensive coordinator. Last year was the first year that they had the rehab of Baker Mayfield. Baker can come back down to earth without Dave Canales there. Like, that is very much a decent outcome that could happen. So Tampa Bay, I would prefer to not have Mike Evans as my wide receiver one, which is why I didn't do that. Got to get back on my okay. Fast jams to get this workout in. All right. All you can eat sushi. Lots going on for Tyler. Sounds like a fun weekend. Yeah, I was going to go to the shore with my wife and Luca today. But of course, by the way, great time for my son to be named Luca. Fucking Luca last night, ripping the heart out of Rudy Gobert and going, motherfucker, you can't fucking go. Like, wow, Luke, that's what I named my son after. So very proud of that. But yeah, we're basically, so it's my dog Penny's birthday today. She's 14 and we don't want to leave her alone for 10 hours, like basically right now, because A, the bladder control is, this has not been great. And then B, it's also like she's a little bit immobile, right? Like, immobile compared to what she used to be. She can still move around. If there's food involved, she can move around more. But unfortunately, like, I'm not going to go to the shore because somebody's got to be here with the dog. So that's the trade-off of partnership here. So I get to be lazy, but I get to miss out on like seeing the kid play with water and shit. So that's life for you. Happy birthday, Penny. Yes, happy birthday, Penny. It's my queen, my little queen. Can't guard me, motherfucker. Go home, bitch. Yeah, Luka's tough, man. Luka, I mean, AI has said it before. Allen Iverson has said in an interview that, like, Luka's like a black man, which, AI could say that. Me saying that would be weird out of context. But, like, the way that he plays, like, the hooping that he does and the talking shit that he does will always bring me joy. I'm so happy to see him getting a shot to finally make that leap. Would have liked more if he got a chance, I think, to go against Jokic in the conference finals, just because of the fact that Jokic, to me, like, you have the Eastern European matchup. Both those guys, though, play the kind of ball, like the fantasy-friendly ball, but also, the dominating the ball, creating offense around them. And Luka's now got Kyrie there to take some pressure off, but Luka's still, dominating the usage. Like, he's at like a 40% usage rate, still rebounding, still putting up triple doubles, getting the assists. Like, I just love the way that he plays. That's why, legitimately, that's why I named my son Lucas, because I would love if he just, even if he fucking doesn't make the NBA, which pretty unlikely. He's fucking short as shit right now. He's a 2-year-old who's short as shit. But like, even if he just plays like intramural ball like Luka, I'll be like, all right, good. I'm glad this was at least worth it, that you've learned how to play fantasy friendly basketball, high fantasy point per minute basketball. That's all we're looking for. Still pissing through the roof. Okay, there we go. Happy birthday, Penny. Thank you. Yeah, our girl's getting old. Lost Callie 2 years ago. She was a younger one. Had the old mast cell cancer, and now Penny has just been hanging on. She's fucking a warrior of a dog, if there ever were one. Yeah, he's named after Luka Doncic. Yes, it's also because, like, Luka is an Italian name, and my wife has Eastern European roots, so kind of made sense that way too. But yeah, that was it. I was just Luka Doncic. I just thought it'd be fun if you could see somebody who looks like him on TV doing cool athletic things growing up. So we'll see. Hopefully he gravitates towards a little bit more. I would have loved McLaurin to come back to me. We're not going to get that one. God forbid. I'm not allowed to have nice things, I think, is generally how every draft goes. Amari Cooper would be okay here. I've been down on Cooper this year for the most part. I think Keenan could be a nicer pick, honestly. I'm going to go Cooper, and I guess I'm going to go Keenan. Wouldn't mind an elite tight end. So bummed I didn't get McLaurin here. But the team so far, we got McCaffrey, we've got Achane, we've got Diggs, we've got Amari Cooper, we've got Keenan Allen, we've got all receivers over 30. How could that possibly go wrong? But again, for this kind of format, though, where we are trying to get steady production throughout the year, a little bit more than I might want to in a normal draft room, I would say that, or a normal draft room, an underdog draft room, I do think I'm a little more comfortable taking the old guys here, knowing that we're going to get some more guaranteed production, especially, again, when we have Christian McCaffrey there at that spot. Like, McCaffrey and Achane is my running back room. These two guys can carry me through the entire year, I think. Like, I'm still not going to have a 2 RB build, but I think I feel pretty good at that position, so we'll survive. It is an ETR-ass receiver room. This is some Mike Leone shit here. Let's add on Tyler Lockett and go, he's 30 spots undervalued. And that's how that goes. Oh, she's pissing through the roof. Yes. Oh, that's right. That's a callback. Yeah, Penny, when she does pee in the house, if she pees by our front door, it does leak through the ceiling of my basement, which is one of the worst fucking things. She hasn't done that in a while, thankfully, but yeah. Good callback by Aunt. Yeah, she does piss through the roof. She does. Fucking, it's the worst, man. But we love them. We love them. We put up with it. What else is there about drafters to know? So one thing I will promote here, and again, promo code SPLASH on there, up to a $100 deposit match for your drafters. Sign up with the promo code SPLASH as well. So check that out. Just go to drafters.com, use the promo code SPLASH in there. It helps me out, shows that you guys are paying attention to the show, and obviously conversion, we do get an affiliate fee for converting you guys. But the real benefit of drafting on drafters, so number one, you get a lot of free entries. You get a free entry at your 10th entry, you get a free entry at your 25th entry, you get 2 free entries at your 50th entry, and then 3 free entries at your 100th. So you're getting 7 free entries if you put in 100. Then if you put in 150, they're also giving you $100 back. So with all that combined, it basically ends up being a rake-free tournament for you, which is very cool. Obviously, drafters, and I know, again, from talking to them, like the guy's honestly been informally an advisor for probably as well as Zach, the founder there. We've talked a lot over the course of the months, which is why I'm always trying to, go back and do business with them. But they really went out of their way to make it so that people are incentivized to be drafting more, to make draft rooms fill faster as well. And that's really the big focus for them. So I really will give drafters a lot of kudos for that. And again, the opposite of DraftKings, where Underdog's the industry leader in best ball. Like, they have earned that title. But I do think for drafters, making it more user-friendly, having the mobile app be really immaculate in terms of giving you notifications and all that. And also the rakeback stuff, like getting that many entries free, getting 7 entries free at $15 a pop and $100 if you max it out. For you guys out there who are like, big bankroll ballers for best ball. And even if you're not, like, frankly, your money probably will go faster on draft or further on drafters than it will on some of the other sites. Like, I think it's more fun, obviously, to take down the big prize pool, to declare yourself the BBM winner. So you can do YouTube titles like Liam Murphy does and go best ball mania champ, looking for a repeat 3 years later. For drafters, you don't have that quite as much, but you still have a much better shot at winning big money, I would say. You still try to team stack on drafters so the wide receivers can ping pong. Yeah, you want to, it's not really about the wide receivers ping ponging as much as it is, correlating where if your QB is going to hit, how does a QB hit? He hits because he's creating value for this receiver, that receiver. And then, like, obviously for a week 17, like, I think that for some stacks, like if you're stacking up, which would be a thin team. Let's say Washington doesn't hit the way that I think, and like Luke McCaffrey doesn't get there. He ends up being more of the player in Rice, where he's just not a star player. He can pay off an underdog because he'll give you a spike week here and there. For drafters, if he's only giving you 1 20-point game over the course of a year at his draft capital, maybe he doesn't actually end up being that valuable for you as part of the stack. So really, to me, like, drafters would be more, you're trying to get the core stack. You're trying to get a Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin, maybe a Jaden Daniels with Dotson, I guess, if you think he's a better player there. But you're trying to correlate, like, what's going to be the big thing that drives the pass game success over the course of a season. Whereas on underdog, it's like, who can give me pass game success in one game, I think, fundamentally. So that's the biggest difference, I would say. But, obviously there's other ones. Love Liam, but he's literally 2 years late in his brand. Look, you're doing what you can. You got to use your advantages to, get engagement and stuff. And it's working for him. So kudos to him. The YouTube algorithm seems to like it a lot. So more power to him. But, hey, what are we going to do? Still feel the late slots this year are better. It all depends on your worldview. I do like, I like the ones you turn a good amount. I liked it last year too when you could get the CeeDee Lamb, Mon-Ra turnaround. I thought that was pretty good with the week 17 of it all, as well as the fact that those guys were just great players at that spot that I thought had shots to be wide receiver 1. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb ends up coming through more than a Mon-Ra does, but both guys were in the hunt or close enough to achieving that. So yeah, I'm with you on it. I think the turn is still nice, but it's really just, you can pick anywhere for me, and I'll be happy with the guys I get for the most part. Thanks for all you do, Spags. Good man. Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, it's a holiday weekend here, but the grind continues on. Spags ranking still going to get updated probably tomorrow, but we'll see if I get motivated enough after the stream. But going to do some changing around here, but I think it's going to be Saturdays for drafters. So now Splash Play, Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. drafts every day. That's the new plug here. And every weekend, it's going to be drafters as well. All right, we're on the clock here. Got our 2 picks at the turn. Elite tight end would be nice. Okay, so we have 2 interesting things to do here. We could go Jacksonville, or we could finish the Niners double with George Kittle. I think Jacksonville gives me a little more weekly upside than a Kittle does. So I'm going to go Ingram for my tight end, and I'm going to go Brian Thomas for my wide receiver 4. I like Brian Thomas, liked him a lot more in the big board before we knew he was going to Jacksonville, just because I thought there was a chance he would go somewhere where he could expand his route tree, be somebody that ends up being materially better overall as a player. Go to Jacksonville, he's going to be the same player he was at LSU, where he's not going to earn targets at the highest rate in the world. He's about a 22% target route run rate guy at LSU. So you take Neighbors away, Neighbors earns targets at a high rate. You add in Christian Kirk, you add in Evan Ingram. Those guys are going to take targets away from Thomas enough that he's not going to become the alpha targeter. And I believe he could have been if he went somewhere, like in Arizona, where it's kind of an open tree for him to do everything he could do. So that's the downside of Thomas. The good side of Thomas is that, number 1, we have the Jacksonville double now. We can theoretically tack on Trevor Lawrence, who I'm not the most excited about, but I can see the merits, especially with him likely to get big paid this offseason with another extension, another rich QB extension that might reset the market. So that's the bet we're willing to make here. And Thomas is wide receiver 4, getting this room younger. That's it. So the team so far, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane at running back. So we're going to lean off of running back for a little bit, I think. Diggs, Cooper, Allen, Brian Thomas, and Evan Ingram. So we've got 4 receivers here through our 7 rounds. Would be nice to get 5 to really feel the full optimal, structure kind of thing. But we get a double here with Jacksonville. We have our other guys. I like the start here. I think it's better than a Kittle build would have been for me. Needed some youth in my room. Look, I did indeed. Clear tier break between JJ and the running backs. Yeah, I think that's fair. Look, I think Jefferson still remains undervalued. The fact that there are rooms at all where Jefferson falls to 7 or whatever, I think is one of the less smart parts of the market data so far that people have been putting out there. But people are going to make their choices. That's how it goes. But anytime I can get McCaffrey in a drafters kind of build, I'm happy to do it. Do you think more skilled drafters would have more success in BBM or drafters? I think on drafters you'll have more success just because the competition's a little bit less good. And also, again, the pod luck is like such a big part of things. Like pod luck is a very big part of best ball that every year, and I think especially as best ball grows, you're going to hear people complaining about it, bitching about it even more. Because like last year, the bitching was the highest I've seen in 3 years of doing these drafts, and 2 years maxing it out and really going heavy in best ball. So I would say in general, the pod luck being a thing that really determines your fate on underdog is a big part. That's why I like drafters. Like, you're going to be in the mix for week 17. If you're not, top 50, top 75 with guys really spiking week 17, you're not going to win it, but you still might have a really good cash. Whereas for BBM, you could be out because you had bad pod luck, even if your team was kind of a killer throughout the course of a season. So, and same thing for DraftKings too. Like, you still have pod luck on DraftKings as well. For drafters, just not having that one luck component, you still have a lot of luck it takes to survive a season, to survive all the injuries, to have your bets hit, to have your ADPs aligned enough to get the right team. That still has to happen on drafters, but just losing the pod component, I think, makes your sharp drafting go a little bit further. I don't know, man, no one projected Jetta's role, but definitely can come in and be okay. Sure. So someone to get Jefferson at 10 is very jealous. Yeah, that's the thing to me. Like, if he's going into that Puka range, that's just a mistake. Like, really it is. Based on his talent. And again, based on the fact that, like, Darnold has been a good QB in recent years. Like, he's not a world beater yet. He's not the kind of guy where you can forgive the priors and he's going to take over a starting job. But you have that as an out. You have JJ McCarthy as an out. JJ McCarthy is throwing flame balls in OTAs so far and in rookie camp so far. And his like EPA metrics, I know people go, oh, Spags like relies on EPA too much. But in reality, when you see it, and then the guy's in the field and he's doing the same fucking thing, EPA does matter to tell you that. He was accurate. He was good downfield, or good enough downfield. He's not quite Caleb Williams, not quite Jaden Daniels. Even in terms of the willingness, not quite Drake May, but still gets as good results as Drake May downfield, and he's more accurate everywhere else. So I think that Jefferson's got 2 nice outs at QB, and that's the concern for him. It's just that he's not going to get there. But not having Hockenson for half the year as well for Jefferson, like Jefferson could be getting you 12 targets a game reliably for that first 8-week run. And that would be completely in range and you would crush it. You'd crush it with a QB. You can get on the ball where he needs to get it. So yeah, I don't need to make a case for Justin Jefferson. Like, you guys know the deal, but if he's falling in your rooms, like, it's your job to scoop it up. Wow, here we go. Lorraine listening on a flight and the free line is hitting. Love to hear that. Appreciate it very much. Glad to be in the mix with you on a plane. Love 20-man roster feels gives an edge to more research on drafters. That's true. Yeah, being able to take guys that have at least some outcome of hitting, I think is a positive as well. All right, so we got our 2-4-1 build here. No QBs yet. We'll see what we can get. Could tighten up. Running back. Well, at least one of the picks, I think a running back wouldn't be a crazy play. Receiver getting a little bit ugly right now. What's this guy going to take? All right, he goes Mostert. Was thinking vaguely about Mostert, but I can live without that. I think James Conner makes this team really feel solid at RB. I'm going to take him with one of the picks, I believe. Let's do that. And we need to get better at QB, guys. We lost out on the elite QBs. I didn't take one anyway. There was none that line that I needed to take. We're going to take old Jaden Daniels here to shore us up at QB. So my biggest bet, of course, this entire fantasy football season is Jaden Daniels. If you watch any splash play, you know that. But I think for drafters as well, I think him at this spot, he can give me that Jalen Hurts level production, hopefully, that AR level production, hopefully, and do it over the course of a season. I believe in it. You may not, so your mileage may vary. Team so far, Jaden Daniels, a QB, unstacked so far. Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, James Conner. So 2 vets, 1 young guy on the upswing, hopefully, at running back, but feel very solid at running back, which I want to feel more solid at running back on drafters, especially. Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas at wide receiver. So we need to get the 5th receiver. Did not get 5 before 100, which is the second goalpost. Ideally, 5 receivers through 7 rounds should be the first goal. If you don't do that, 5 through 10 should be the secondary goal. but I like the top 3 enough, and I think we can make it work in a 20-round draft to get there. So that's the trade-off. And we have Jacksonville as well here. So hopefully, I don't know Trevor Lawrence's ADP. All right, so Trevor Lawrence has a 120 ADP. Would like to get him back at that spot. If we don't, I won't cry about it. Jaden, I want to be the greatest rushing QB of all time, Daniels, and to be that great of a rusher and also that great of a passer. Very fun combo. And Njoku and Cooper would have been a nice stack. That's fair. That's fair. I'm not huge on Cleveland overall. I just don't think Deshaun gets it back, honestly. Like with what I saw last year, I don't think he can be what he was before, personally. I think that Jameis is a pretty nice out behind him, but I don't know that they would even bench a Deshaun because of the investment. Like their priority number one has to be salvaging Deshaun, but I don't know. I feel like it was on a ship chasing a couple months ago where they were like, do you think Deshaun wants to play football? And I was like, that really crystallized for me. Like, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that he does at this point. He's got the guarantee. He's been the public enemy number one. He clearly does not enjoy that. He likes being the beloved guy in Houston. And I think wanted to be the beloved guy in Cleveland, also getting big money. So those are my concerns for Cleveland, that I'm not doing a lot of stacking of them. And honestly, even for taking Amari, like I like Amari a lot as a player. I liked him a lot last year. People were shitting on him too. And obviously he ends up having some big spike weeks that helped advance teams entirely on his own. But that said, like, I don't know that he would be able to do the spike weeks to that level if he had Watson throwing the ball last year. So, and now you add in Jerry Jeudy as well. Njoku, they have to feed Njoku more, even though Watson's never been good at feeding tight end. So we'll see. And you still have more there. You still have enough things to pull away from a Watson or, from a Cooper as well. If anyone could save Watson, it's Ken Dorsey. I suppose. We'll see. I mean, Dorsey did get fired in Buffalo. I mean, I don't know that you shouldn't blame him entirely for what happened there. But, he wasn't getting the most out of a good QB. So what's he going to get out of? I don't know. I think if anything, I mean, Cleveland obviously didn't fire their head coach or anything. But if you're Cleveland, like I would have been doing the Dave Canales thing. I'd be like, fucking please save Deshaun Watson right now. Like you saved these other guys. But obviously that wasn't in the cards. Pretty big Cleveland one-off guy, mainly Amari or Njoku. Just can't get behind Watson. It's exactly how I feel about it. Again, the worst play I saw in football last year, besides some of the Tank Bigsby receptions that bounced off his chest and became interceptions, was Deshaun Watson getting confused in the pocket and throwing the ball backwards. Like his mind was not in the game. His head is not in the game. His arm talent was not as good. His rushing wasn't as good either. Like he did just nothing hit in the same way that Deshaun used to. I get, again, I've always talked about the rubber meets the road kind of bets. It is a rubber meeting the road kind of bet for Deshaun at this point, that he's got to get better or something's going to have to change there. But that's one of the rubber meeting the road bets. Like I just don't think he comes through. I don't have the faith that he comes through is a better way to put it. There's a probability on it for sure. Let's see what we got coming up here. And a cheers here for a holiday weekend. 9.5% ABV. I had too fucking many of these last night, if I'm being honest, but we're going back to the hair of dog that bit us. And I do love Golden Monkey. My favorite beer has the Hefeweizen kind of flavor, but a 10% ABV pop. That's all we're looking for. All right, we got our 2 picks coming up here. And also, I did pitch to drafters, by the way, that they should do like an underdog, or not like the equivalent of an underdog cardio club. They should do like the drafters drinking club, where they have people like, send us your draft with you, whatever beer or cocktail you're drinking, and then maybe you send in enough of them, you get a free entry or merch or something. So see if that might happen. So see if that does happen. But that's what I think drafters should do. Again, you're doing the different format. Lean into it further. Just make it even more different. That's what I would say if I were running them, but I am not. All right. So we have our bet on Washington. We needed to stack up Jaden a little bit here. I am going to go Jahan Dotson, not just because of the deep ball that he caught the other day, but I do think that he's a player I need to stop sleeping on as much on underdog as well, because he can be resurgent in that offense as well. And I think that's something that I'm not accounting for enough. And do we get scooped on Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, we got scooped on Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to do Brock Purdy here. A little bit after ADP. We have McCaffrey. Why not? A little bit surprised that we got scooped on Trevor Lawrence. He goes 114. Does this guy have anything with Jacksonville? All right, so Lawrence went 114 unstacked, so not my ideal given that we had the Jacksonville double. That said, I feel like Brock Purdy week to week, Jaden Daniels week to week. I think the floor and ceiling for them is higher than Trevor Lawrence, so we'll take Jacksonville as a mini for Brian Thomas and Evan Ingram, and then we'll stack up Purdy with McCaffrey instead. Maybe take Pearsall late, I guess, or Jennings or Cowing. I don't know. But the team so far, 2 QBs, so we're done there. We got Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, and James Conner at running back, Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas, and Jahan Dotson at wide receiver, and Evan Ingram at tight end. Not mad at it. Think Lawrence would have been obviously a little more logical for me, but anytime I miss out on Trevor Lawrence, I'm not really going to be too upset about it as one of the earliest Trevor Lawrence faders last year. How many 9.5 beers is too many for you? I did 6 yesterday, but it was spread out from like, we were playing some cornhole outside before getting Luca from daycare. So spread out for like 3 till like 10 or so. I could do 6 in that period, but normally most nights like 3 to 4. I mean, not most nights. Whenever I am drinking beer, like 3 to 4 of them is usually enough to get me feeling good and not like I need to do much more. If you do like 4 in like a 1 hour, 2 hour period, or even like 3, probably pushing it. And that's for me as somebody that's like a bigger guy. I'm 6'1", 240 right now. So like I like, and it'll hit me pretty hard as somebody that has decent drinking talent, decent drinking aptitude. Good local craft. We do have a lot of good brewers in Philly area. I'll give them that. I've always liked Victory, who does the Golden Monkey beer that I'm drinking right now. But I've liked them before I was in Philly. Now that I'm in Philly, they're everywhere, which is even better. Delirium is still probably my favorite, though. Delirium Tremens, because that's like same ABV, but like even lighter. It's like drinking like a really nice Coors, except that it gets you like fucking lit. And the bottle's really cool, too. So I do like Delirium Tremens the most. Kilt Lifter. Interesting. There we go. I've not had that one. I've had a lot of different silly name ones. I had one that I liked a lot was I think it was like the Level Up beer by Yards, I believe it is. That one I drank a lot on stream when I was doing the drinky shows last year. Pretty good. Thank you. Thank you for complimenting my drinking talent. The one thing I always feel like for me is that like there are times where I don't drink for an entire week, but I never want to be out of drinking shape enough that you go out somewhere and you're the one where you're like, oh man, like, whoa, I can't keep up. That's how I feel about everything though. Like I'm a person that has a hard time. Like I don't Irish exit things. Like I want to be usually the last person to leave things, especially when I was single back in the day and I'm like doing stuff. So like, I think that's the mindset. I don't want anybody to leave me, whether it be leaving me at the party or leaving me under the table drinking with us. Kilt Lifted heaviest. All right, everybody knows this Kilt Lifted. I've not seen that. Four Peaks beer. Arizona made. Okay, there we go. I don't think I've ever had Four Peaks. Because I don't think that was in California either, at least that I saw. All right, so what do we have to do for this team? Let's think about that a little bit. So need another tight end, obviously. We'll have a few options. We'll have one option in particular that I think would be pretty fun coming up at some point. Need at least one more running back, maybe 2. I'm okay with this stuff. Oh, Jaden with his new bit, 100% or 10,000%. Jesus, that's too many percents to Kadarius Toney draft. I don't think so. I don't hate Kadarius Toney. I made my bet last year. Like last year to me was the time to make the bet. I'm not dying to do that again. I think you got to sometimes, some guys, when you have like the nut chance for them to hit and they fuck it up beyond repair, I still think you should, try to be agnostic about that. But we now have enough circumstance changing there where it's not like they kept the room the same and then lost MVS and like Rashee Rice is going through legal stuff. It's like they added a lot of guys that would make that. But we've beaten the drum of Kadarius Toney enough for our guy Jaden. This is not the channel to drop that in, given I'm a proud Italian American, but no, it's not. Overrated food. I feel like Chinese is a little bit overrated. I like Chinese food, but like the greasiness, the heftiness of it, I would say a little more overrated. With Italian, you're getting carbs and cheese and fucking some meats, some seafood, some whatever, some lots of things on. I don't see that at all. And then you have the great antipastos, the appetizer type things, fried cheese, another thing, not to make it all cheese related. And Like I think that would be it for me. The one I really don't like though is like, and no disrespect to our Indian brethren out there, I'm sure many of them watching the stream. Indian food to me is the one that's like the most overrated. All right. We have nothing too exciting here. I do think Ray Davis is kind of a fun wide receiver 4 type pick or RB4 type pick for the team because there's a shot that he does have the goal line work. Jalen Wright to me duplicative of what we're trying to do with Achan, and Ty Chandler. He's okay, but I don't think I want him more than Ray Davis personally. So he's going to be my first pick off the board here. And we do need to add some more receivers as well. When does Sinnett's at 170? So we shouldn't have to take him yet. Somebody's going to fuck me on Sinnett, I'm sure. We'll go Pearsall. I don't know what the bet on Pearsall is, but we have to stack the Niners a little bit more, I think. So Pearsall's basically the last guy we can get in a Niner stack. So I'm going to take him as my wide receiver 6 and hope that that is worth anything at all. So he does look good in camp, but I just don't know that he can unseat. He can't get reps there with Ayuk and Debo, so he kind of needs one of them to go. There is a faint chance. There were some reports this week that if Ayuk agrees to a new deal, they might be forced to trade Debo this summer, and like the Jets are a team that's been hunting around him for a while, which would greatly upset everything in Best Ball Mania in a way that'd be very interesting to see. Besides that, though, I don't know what Pearsall's out really is. Like he's going to get at best Juwan Jennings' level of routes and then maybe makes them more productive, but he's not a great target earner either. So I'm not really sure what you get. We have Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy as my QBs so far. We have Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, James Conner, and Ray Davis as our RB room. Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas, Jahan Dotson, Pearsall, and Evan Ingram as my tight end. So feeling okay about where we are, pretty decently balanced. Have to stick tight end, but we have some ideas of what to do there. The draft has smaller best ball contests like Underdog. Yeah, they have a bunch. Let me see if I can open them in a separate tab here. Okay. Here's a $2 one. Here, I'll share this tab real fast. Here's what they have right now. So they have all the little private rooms that you can go into. And this $2 one, how many entries is it? Yeah, 150 max, $2, $20K to first place. So you're putting in 300 to win 20K for this one. So if you want to do this, it'd be the more affordable option. And this is the one that I'm in right now, the $15 million drafters million tournament. And actually, we are going to be giving away entries for this too, which I don't know I'm going to give it away, but we do have one per stream. So I'll figure that out at some point. But there's going to be a giveaway of drafters tickets soon on the channel. You can see the prize pool here, 500K to first place, 200K to second, 100K to third, and then obviously decreasing. Decently flat from there, but not as flat as an underdog, obviously. There's your payouts. Go back to the draft room. Yeah, the daily contests on drafters are fun. That's what I've been hearing from them as well. Apparently, the pick'ems on there are very popular, and they also don't limit you in the way that others out there may, which is again another thing that they're focused on, trying to give good customer service and take things that the founder Zach, I believe, like things that he doesn't want to see happen for himself, he doesn't do on his product, which I think is a pretty nice rule of thumb. A little bit of the golden rule if you are launching a gambling product of any sort. So kudos to them for that. In drafters, we see Marshawn Lloyd go at 135, which a more appropriate price tag than you're getting on Underdog. I don't think he's infinitely more value in full point PPR or more valued. He's going to be a little bit better there as a likely pass down back for Green Bay. But I think Lloyd, to me, better price here, more logical price than he's currently getting on Underdog. Meatwad, get them honeys. Meatwad, get them honeys, G indeed. Hard to see our guy Meatwad in chat and not think of the fondest memories of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Is Taysom Hill a draft tight end on drafters? I believe so. Here he is, tight end. So still draftable on drafters. Would not be a player I would draft an Underdog at QB, but on drafters it works. Taysom was a part of a lot of my drafters teams last year, and frankly DraftKings too when he got cheaper. Taysom Hill I think is a good tight end 3, and it does seem like Clinton Kubiak has taken a shine to Taysom Hill and has recognized that this offense runs better when you have Taysom Hill out there doing something. So I think there's good signal for Taysom Hill after last year. His role kind of fell apart down the home stretch. He got a touchdown, I think, in week 16 or week 17, but he was getting less snaps, like by a pretty wide margin when the fantasy playoffs were kicking off. Top of the morning here. Top of the morning. Look, Splash Play now on Saturdays too. So guys, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Of course, it's going to go over my face here. But your support's really appreciated. Doing everything I can to add value, showing you guys different platforms as well, and ones that are, I think, worth your time. And that's always the goal here on Splash Play, of course, giving you the insights, giving you the intel and all of that. And actually, quick plug for Probably too. Massive day yesterday with Probably. We actually 5-0 in the top 5, and every bet besides our home run bets hit from the YouTube video yesterday. So if that helps you make your decision, check out Probably right now. 50% off at probably.com/subscribe. My betting app. It's not my picks. It's just my creation to have this market data tool that works better than anything else in the industry. And I've been very happy with it for my own bankroll, but also when we hit like that for content, it's hard to do that, picking bets at 9 a.m. And just, limited sample size, all that. But felt very good to have that hit. And of course, draft as well, which we're drafting on today. Promo code SPLASH on there up to $100 and deposit match for you when you deposit on drafters. Check it out. More of you guys that get in there. Fast rooms are filled. It's always a good thing. As soon as someone thinks Italian's overrated, they think Italian food is what they get at the Olive Garden. That's true. I've actually, one thing for me, and I know I believe Charlie's Italian too. Fucking Cynic goes to pick before me. These motherfuckers, no matter what platform, I'm just going to get somebody fucking putting their dick in my ear. That's how this goes. But take Luke Musgrave, who I do like. No correlation for it, but that's fine. Fucking fucky fucks. I'm going to go up for Luke McCaffrey, too, because we're just going to get our stack for Washington. That was bullshit, man. Ramses, they need to fucking entomb this guy, bury him with his cats. That's what we need to do for Ramses in the 2-hole. Get out of here. Fucking Ramses. You needed a tight end, but you didn't need Ben Sinnott. I needed Ben Sinnott. You needed Luke Musgrave. How dare you? God damn it. Probably Rocksman, loved it this week. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you, Talk Sports. Talk Sports, always nice comments. Appreciate that a bunch. Yeah, Taysom is on tight end on DraftKings and Drafters, yes. But not on Underdog. They've wisened up. And not on FFPC, right? He's still a QB on there. Until they change it again. For the second straight year. Just to fuck with everybody. You thought Italian would change your world? When did you not eat Italian until with this last name too? I mean, I assume this is a pseudonym for Lorraine Abzeri here, but I feel like that's you're throwing me for a loop, Lorraine, on multiple fronts. Much as I love Spags rants, hope he can have a calm and happy draft. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Look, the tilts, sometimes it cuts deep. The biggest tilt I had this week was the fucking our battle with our angry Trumper friends. And I use the term friend very loosely there, who get obsessive and send threats over Twitter and shit, and then downvote videos desperately on YouTube. But we persevere here. We move forward. That's all we'll do here. When you do 5 drafts a week, let alone now 6 drafts a week, I'm going to get myself in all sorts of trouble, all sorts of angry things that'll tilt me in over the course of a week. You know that. At a certain point this summer, I'm ready for a Kendrick Drake beef. We all know who the Kendrick is. It's this guy right here who'll empty the howitzer on you at every turn. But that's what we need to really get the best ball space going. I need to beef with somebody who's who would be the thing? Who's the Drake of this, where I'm Kendrick here. I'm loyal to my indie cred. I'm putting out art every single time I do a draft video. Who would be, it would be the Fantasy Flock. I need to actually go to war with Fantasy Flock. He's the Drake, right? Maybe less uncomfortable things with people of a certain age. I think I don't want to accuse Fantasy Flock of that. But I feel like he's got to be the Drake in the space relative to turning out number ones. Yeah, we knew. Beef with Flock. Oh, last name is Persian. Okay, I guess that makes sense. When you have the Z in there, usually my brain does go Italian, but Abazari could be it. Fair enough. Half Persian. Got tired of Persian food. I like the Persians. All the kids I went to high school with who were Persian were very rich, though. And one of them was kind of a dick, who was a senior on our football team when I was my first year as a sophomore, I think. Alex Amirsaleh is his name. You wanted to take deep. His brother Cyrus, really cool. Alex, though, classic high school football team kind of dickhead guy. He and John Clyer, who I think actually killed himself. Not to laugh about it, but those were the guys on my football team who were the biggest dicks that I can recall. So that's my thought on Persians. I like Prince of Persia though, so got that going for me. And Persian women. I mean, let's be real. I gotta give a chef a kiss for that. I could dip my endless breadsticks there. I'd be happy with it. I will make these accusations, but if our guy Ross here is going to make them, he can do it. I just make the accusation that he's not good at drafting and doesn't know football, but but I can make that accusation about it. Some people, I suppose. Estimate at 193 to our guy Chunk. Chunk playing the hits, playing some Denver stacks. Troy Franklin and Estimate. Hard for me to get mad at that. There we go. Persian women. If you're actually a woman, Lorraine, you're representing the 0% that get recorded on my YouTube demographics. But I'm glad to hear you in here. Glad to see you in here. If you're watching Spags on Bindle, Snipers fail you, Spags. What? Foil me? All right. Sure. They do. Oh, they follow me. Yes, they do. They do. It's okay. People want to come. They want to come for the top dog. They want to come for the 4-time BBM and TK Millie finalist. I get it. Fiance got you into that's very cool. Glad to hear that. The space needs more female representation. I know our guy Steph, or our guy. This is how much I like for women. I just view you as as dudes, but like our gal Steph doing a great job on a lot of videos. I know she did the pound the day after I did the pound stream as well this week. Megan, who I think does some stuff for Run Pure, does a good job as well. Who else? Is there any female drafters I'm missing? I think those are the big two I see the most. Steph is like everywhere, so she's definitely working hard. But that girl Megan, I think, does a good amount. I haven't watched a lot of her stuff, but she's got decent takes on social media. Our bro Steph, our dude. But to me, like I think that's the way you should view women. Obviously, like if you're a content creator person, like you're just one of the guys. Like I don't give it. Like Kendall Valenzuela, like these people. Like if you're giving out good takes for football, it doesn't matter to me if you're a woman or not. It's the ones where it's like they're getting jobs because the channel feels like they need a female face on it, and it's like you don't really know your shit. But there's enough out there that do that, like just viewing him as one of the guys. I don't know. I hope it's not disrespectful in any way, but Steph's work, I think, like it's not gender specific. It's because she's very smart at what she does. All right, so we have 4 running backs. We got 7 receivers. Could use a 3rd tight end potentially. Who makes this team better? Like really? I think Foreman could give us some weeks where he could make the flex. So I'm going to make Foreman one of the picks here. It's not a lot of upside left at these positions. Can Chig be good on Tennessee? Enough to justify this team? And we get a week 17 correlation with Jacksonville. I'm going to take Chig as my tight end 3. I think I could use a wide receiver 8, but at this point of the board, there's nobody I need to get here. And I think I can dig deeper at receiver than everybody else in this room can. So that's what I'm going to do. So teams so far, we got Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy at QB. Running back, we've got McCaffrey, Achane, Connor, Ray Davis, and Deonta Foreman. So think we're done at running back now, though we could go one more with it being a 20-round draft. Got Diggs, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas Jr., of course, Jahan Dotson, Ricky Pearsall, Luke McCaffrey. The Pearsall part of this makes me think I need to get at least one more receiver, if not 2, because I just don't know that Pearsall gives me more than one good week all year. But I was so desperate to get something else correlating with Purdy that I took him, which I really don't think is a reason to take a player. But I'm low on Pearsall, so I could take him sometimes. And Ingram, Musgrave, Okonkwo is our tight end room. So obviously Ingram carrying most of the water here. Maybe Musgrave and Okonkwo give us a usable week here and there. That's the hope. Musgrave, I think, has a better shot to give me a usable week. And if it weren't a 20-round draft, I probably would have just gone 2 tight ends there with Musgrave and Ingram. But we have the flexibility here with 3 more rounds. We don't need week 17 correlation on drafters, do we? No, though I do think it's not a bad thing to have a little bit of. If it should be less of a tiebreaker than it is on underdog. But if you're picking late and you have the chance there, like getting the nut outcome in week 17 that can vault you over everybody. I can tell you, like for my team last year, I felt like I was dead in the water going into week 17 while I was still in, I think I was in the top 60 heading in to week 17 and then finished just outside the top 100. It was really hard to dig out because I wasn't correlated and there wasn't like a concerted bet on anything. And I also had some really bad injuries too. But that's the thing to me that You don't have to do it, but I don't think it's a bad thing if you had a little bit. Like, let's say you took Houston, Baltimore guys, having them come together in one nut outcome game after a year of being good for you, I think would be a pretty good thing. Running a palm after this. I'm not planning on it now. Just one draft. I've done 5 drafts this week. It's a holiday weekend. I love you guys, but I think I could go back to the lab here. And I also would like to start working on the Spags rankings for the week as well, because I do that usually in this time period that I'm doing the draft today. So I got to adjust some stuff in my weekend work schedule. But I am a sleepy boy. So no palms. I might not even do any palms, to be honest. I'm so focused on BBM and just making sure the bankroll lasts for BBM is really my focus for the year. So we'll see. People excited to see Best Ball Guy. Best Ball Guy, I know, streaming a lot. Is he? Best Ball Guy is part of the new trio with Bindles and somebody else, right? The Super Stack Bros, I believe, is the new channel that I've seen on social media. I think that's right. Is there a story behind the "I'm sorry, ugly" hat? So I started wearing money hats when I was at Stochastic back in the day, then stopped doing it even though people loved the bit. And now I've brought it back because for things like YouTube, having people recognize you is a pretty big part of the equation. So you almost want to be fundamentally like a cartoon character where your aesthetic is similar each video. People see you, they then recognize you. If they like the video, they get in their algorithm again, they're going to check it out again. So that's the logic, but I don't know. Just a bit, fundamentally. All right, so we're going to get some sweet week 17 correlation with Rondale Moore here. We're taking Rondale Moore just to make me a little bit better at receiver, as I've talked about. I do think he's a little bit undervalued. I also don't believe fundamentally that Malik Washington should be ahead of Odell Beckham in ADP here. Odell in round 19 as a guy that I think Miami's going to force feed the ball to a little bit. I'm happy to do it. So Odell, my wide receiver 9 here. We might get to 10. We might get to 10 receivers. Let's give this team a read. We've got Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy as our QB. So again, feel really good at QB here. Guys who I think can be good in the season. Can give me some spike weeks, all that. Christian McCaffrey is our correlation with Purdy. Devon Achane, James Conner, Ray Davis, Deonta Foreman. Maybe you could make the case a little too thin at running back. But again, if you're making the bet on McCaffrey and Achane at the 1-2 turn, in 2 consecutive rounds, I think you have to really make the bet. These guys have outlier years that are really good. Diggs, Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas, Jahan Dotson, Ricky Pearsall, Luke McCaffrey, Rondale Moore, and Odell Beckham are a wide receiver room. And a tight end, Evan Ingram, Luke Musgrave, and Chig Okonkwo. So the spots where we spent less draft capital, we made it up in volume. Besides QB, which I think fell pretty nicely to us with a discount on Purdy and Jaden Daniels at his usual spot. Did all 50 palms live on stream yesterday. Please don't do any palms. I promise it's not worth it. Okay. That's crazy. You did all 50 live on stream. That's commitment to the bit, if nothing else. I will say, my veteran experience here, that I think Pete and I learned firsthand early on in the best ball, trying to do creative things for content. The multi-tabling stuff, I mean, if you're doing it for yourself, I get it. But multi-tabling on stream, you don't get more views. The content gets worse. And people, those are the 2 key parts. Like, you're making worse teams, and also people don't watch you more. So that was one of my lessons I would advocate for anybody out there trying to do content, because I think your brain goes, oh, well, what if I do 5 on stream? It's going to be like 5 times as better. And in reality, you're just making worse teams and people can't follow the narrative thread of your team as much. There we go. Quality over quantity. There we go. All you need are 2 spike weeks from Rondale. He'll likely give a little more this season. I think he could also give me just like a couple 8-point weeks, 10-point weeks that sometimes you need on drafters just to get through and give you some points in a given week. So I like Rondale more. I like Rondale more than most people do, just because of the fact that he is a part of this offense we're expecting to be so great. And London might not be as great. Like, I'm taking London a good amount. I'm taking Pitts. I'm even taking some Darnell Mooney. But none of those guys have really crushed in a way where you're like, oh, man, this guy's a lock to smash this year. They're all in a better situation than they've ever had at QB for the most part. But I still think for them, there's a chance that they're not world beaters. And Rondale Moore, he's been good when he's been healthy. And now he's going to be a starting slot for this team that's supposed to be so much better offensively. So we'll see. You just watch it back. Yeah, look, I mean, this is niche content to talk about it, but yeah, it's one of those things that whenever I see people doing the multi-table streams, I'm like, you ain't got to do that. You just, but that's, That's me being a savvy old best ball drafting hand at this point. Fun draft. Yeah, if I'd gotten Sinnott, it's the only thing that would have made me feel better. Sinnott and Trevor Lawrence would have made this team pop in a way where it would have been perfectly correlated. I would have been happy with it, but I'm still happy with the outcome. I feel like the team's solid. Nobody got in my way too much. We got Jaden. I'm going to be mad at all those things. But hey, happy Memorial Day weekend to all you guys. Appreciate all of you guys who do watch this live. If you're watching live or after the fact, very kind of you to give me a view during a time off for all of it. But your likes matter a lot here. Your subscribes matter a lot. So please do hit that like, hit that subscribe, leave a comment if you want. And of course, drafters will be giving away tickets. I'm not going to give one today. I'll give away 2 next week, because I think is what we'll do. And I'll figure out how to do that as well. But stay tuned here. We'll give away 2 next Saturday once we have a non-holiday weekend stream. I think that's a fair way to do that. All right, so our final pick here. Washington, I could take a Diami Brown. I could go real stupid there. Should I just waste a pick at running back and take somebody like Deuce Vaughn? You know what? I don't give a lot to our guy, Jaden. It's a 20-round draft. Jaden, if you're watching, Kadarius Toney, 20th round. Final team here, a 2-5-10-3. We've got Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, James Conner, Ray Davis, and Deonta Foreman. Maybe could have used the 4th running back in a slightly better range to really feel like this team is all the way there. That said, I think Foreman gives me points in the first half of the year. I think Ray Davis' shots give me points all year long if he is the goal line back. So here we go. I did it just for you, Jaden. I hope you feel valued this holiday weekend. We got Stephon Diggs. We got Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Brian Thomas. I'm also over the screen. Let me see if I can go. All right, here we go. Brian Thomas, Jahan Dotson, Ricky Pearsall, Luke McCaffrey, Rondale Moore, Odell Beckham, and Kadarius Toney. So we went old at receiver, started a little bit later at receiver as well, because we took McCaffrey and Achane in the first 2 rounds. So I did want to make it up more with volume with guys that I think have some utility late, some chance to give me points on the flex. I think Kadarius Toney, Odell, Rondale Moore. These are guys that probably don't move up in ADP a ton, but I think they are guys that give me points, and that's really what we're looking for here on drafters. And a tight end here, we got 3 tight ends: Evan Ingram, Luke Musgrave, Chig Okonkwo, our first drafters draft. So hey, show some love for drafters. I wouldn't be doing an extra stream here on the weekends if we're not for drafters. So go check it out. Promo code SPLASH on drafters, $100 deposit match for you on drafters right now. You get the rake back bonuses there. Really noteworthy. Even if you only put in 10 drafts, they're immediately giving you a ticket. It's automatic. You don't have to like email in for it like I think you had to used to do with them. You get 10 drafts to give you a free ticket, 25 drafts to give you another ticket, 50 drafts to give you another 2 tickets, 100 drafts to give you another 3 tickets. So you get 7 free entries if you put in 100 drafts on drafters. That's a lot to ask, but if you are a person that's trying to get the most TV in best ball, it's probably on drafters. So check it out for yourself. Do that. And then 150, if you max it out, give you $100 back in cash. So you're basically not paying rake for the draft, which is a pretty good deal. So check it out for yourself. Of course, I'll be back on Monday. Well, actually, am I? I think I'm going to do a draft on Monday. So unless Pete's doing one, if Pete's doing one, I might not. If Pete's not doing one, we'll see though. I'll probably do one, but if nothing else, I'll be back on Tuesday. So more drafts coming up next week. Drafts generally now Monday through Saturday at 11 a.m. So please do subscribe, hit the like button, and all of that. Shout out to all the fine folks who've joined the channel. I think this is everybody who's joined. Of course, you too can join, get my rankings, get a VIP Discord, get 10 team reviews from me a month. Hit that join button down below for $4.99 a month. And of course, you also help me put on the show, because the show doesn't make enough money if it's not for the membership. So even right now, really, I need like another fucking 1,000 members. But please subscribe and let's keep it going. Hit the join button. Let's do that. And again, I really do wish you guys, you want to bet this weekend? Probably.com/subscribe, promo code SPLASH on there. But really, you guys, hope you have a really great weekend no matter what you're doing. If you're just hanging out like I am, if you're doing something else, going to do something fun, going out in the sun, really just enjoy it no matter what it is. And I will see you guys again on Monday or Tuesday. So see you then. Enjoy your weekends and good luck. Bye-bye.